We are here as part of the Erasmus Plus project called Introduction to Digital Learning, which is a collaboration initiative between France, Portugal, Slovakia, and Poland. This is our fourth installment of our international webinars, and we are going to be talking about best practices in digital learning coming from the Slovak Republic. I hope that you will enjoy the presentations. Please feel free to ask any questions, raise your hand or write in the chat if you want to know something more. Perhaps if you'd like to know the website of the project that we will be talking about, or would like contact information for our speakers, you can contact me directly during or after this meeting. And with that being said, I would like to introduce our first speaker, who will be Mr. Peter Matej, who is a digital security or cybersecurity expert. He's an organizer of a cybersecurity conference in East Slovakia. He's a lecturer, CEO of the company EMSEC, and he's also the editor-in-chief of the web portal incident.sk. Mr. Matej, please.
Thank you very much. I try to share my presentation. Well, hope it's okay. Have you seen it?
Yes, it's visible. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So I can start directly because you introduced myself. So it's not more words. I'm not very fluent speaking English, so I hope anybody will understand in case of not questions. So, topic: simple guide to personal cybersecurity. Okay. Next slide. Okay. So why simple guide? I think we know about reading comprehensions is some best practice. Financial literacy. Anybody know how to get account in bank? How to deal with money? How to use internet banking? Digital literacy. It's we can see our young people, teenagers, how they deal with mobile, internet, digital skills. Anybody can use documents, tables. It's not so difficult, but what about emails? What about our access to some pages, websites, e-shops? Do we know what is digital identity and how is digital identity? And if the answer is yes, should we worried about our digital identity? And such questions, what about if I'm not IT teacher, I'm just a language teacher, how I deal with cybersecurity and why? So these are the questions I would like to answer today. And we start with digital identity. In case we are going to bank or some other public organization, we have to present ourselves with some papers, with IDs, passports, or other documents. But in case we are accessing online sites, we have to as well to provide some identifications that we are, and to approve it we are, and it's our identity, and some authentication methods like using a password. So our login or mail account and our passwords are way we are identifying in the digital space. And it's a good advantage to use it. We haven't to go to the bank and to some offices, but biggest disadvantage as well is that identity can be theft and misuse. So digital identity, how much we have? No one. We have as much identities as we have access, and we have social networks, some logins on the e-shops, banking. In case we have accounts in more banks, we have more accounts in more banks. Or, for example, access to some school portals. Webmail, our mail communications, or log into social networks. Any accounts we have, any digital identity we have. And this is first of the problems. In case we will speak about some common security threats, we can discuss about X. We can choose 11 when me, and you can choose more or few. But I think the first 6 are most threats we have to deal with. First one, password and authentication. As I said before, as far as we have more access to more webs, more applications, the question is how many accounts, how many passwords you use. You have the other passwords for any of access, or you use the same password, same simple password to remember it. How often you change your passwords? It's I know we are lazy people, so we choose the simple passwords, only one password, and use this password on the all sites. But in case our password is misused, this can be like a chain reaction, so that threat actor can access our social networks, access to personal and work accounts. So, what's the recommendations? How to deal with these threats? It's simple. Do not use the same authentication data in different portals, different accounts. Use for any portal, any account, use different password. How to remember it? We can use some applications like password managers. KeePass is very fine. I use it. In case you can somewhere use multi-factor authentication, so not just password, but as well use with password some other factor. The simple is to get SMS message from the portal, but the better is to choose some authentication applications you can find on the web or on Google and Apple sites. The last but not least is passwordless authentication. It's something that I think it would be in future more used because, as I said, we are lazy to remember passwords, and it's better to have our mobile with ourselves, or some key or something that can provide that we can authenticate with this mobile, for example. In case you want to try whether your account was misused or not, you can use site haveibeenpwned.com and try your email. For example, my one, I have tried, it's good news, no pound. As you can see, now where more than very big number. 12 billiards. I'm not sure I'm using a good number. What in case your mail was misused? I used my old one. It's changed here, certainly. But this is how it look in case your mail was misused. You can see where, how much time. It's no pounded in 6 data branches, and in down you can see which data branches it was where your mail was misused. Social engineering is another second thread. Social engineering. The question: what do you think? Who is the best social engineer? I think it's our children, because they ask so much times something after they get it. And this is a principle of social engineering. It's situation when we are in some uncomfortable situation. Situation is causing our stress. It's for example, time pressure, or we are putting to a situation when it's could maybe take some financial losses. And this social engineering is often done remotely by phone, so we don't know who is speaking on the other side. Sometimes we are required to do something in our systems. For example, change access, change password. Because the calling person is saying that our system is non-functional, and it's not true. Or the stranger asks for some information about configurational systems, or just some information about us or about processes in organization. So how to deal with threats, what to do. Certainly, do not provide information over the phone to the stranger, to the unknown person. No bank, no issuer company, no state organizations that don't ask us, or should not ask us for data, for accounts, for credit number, credit card number, or other personal information. And in case you have to communicate with the person, please not answer to this call. Please call to the organization, to the official number of the organization, and try to get to the phone the person who was introducing the first call. It's a best practice how to avoid from such type of social engineering. Some basic tactics. How some common tactics. For example, some friend send you a strange message. Certainly, it's not friend. It's look like friend. It's no problem to masquerade mail address in send mail. Or for example, the request is right or put on some time urgent. You have just 30 minutes or last hour to do something, and you don't win, for example, the win In case it's something look very good, it's not. It's really not good. So another example is receiving help you don't ask for. For example, maybe you can get call from Microsoft support, or you heard it, Microsoft support, and the call is not from Microsoft. Call is from some attack site, and attacker say you that your system have problem. You don't know about problems, but he said that you are using wrong license number for operating system, for example, and ask you to do something you don't know, do it. So he asked you to connect to some site to download application, and he can help you remote to do what Microsoft need to do. And certainly it's not application for help, it's an application to download malware to your computer. So this is very often how to social engineering via call and via remote access are provided. Phishing threats. Phishing, it's not going separate. It's many times hand in hand with social engineering. Phishing introduce us to inconvenience. Phishing can but we do some actions. There are various forms of phishing via mail documents, via phone. It's phishing when the caller is looking like your friend or your boss, for example. Or you can get some fraudulent SMS. Recommendations, I will show some example. Do not trust senders, or do not click on links on email. Do not open documents in case it's a document from not trusted person. And in case you are not sure, for example, in case you see that the sentence are not in your language, and you see some markings about not good language, it's really time to communicate with somebody skilled to overview your mail, or put your mail to some quarantine and deal with mail or attachment in other ways. Some phishing principle example is that phishing have a few steps. The first step, attacker prepare some fake website that look like original website, and send the victim the mail. It's a phishing mail. For example, click here because we have best prices, we have best offer, or we have meeting, or here on the web are all salaries of company, and so on. So something that you want to see, and you click on link to go to the website, and you download some malware. And this malware can communicate with other servers, like command and control servers, and or to decrypt your files on computer, or just wait for situation when you will access to some websites, and that your IDs, your digital ID. The next threads we have to discuss is Wi-Fi. I think anybody allow something that is free, and free Wi-Fi is some of three possibilities. You are in some restaurants or airports or shopping centers. You have time because your wife, for example, is shopping. You have time to make some payments because you forget it at home to do. And you have free Wi-Fi. And free Wi-Fi, in case it's you have the password, it's like open space. So your passwords, your identification is flowing with open space, and anybody can catch it. So really, is a first thing, and the second. I can prepare Wi-Fi with a password, and I can sit in a restaurant, and I can offer you so that you can connect it. But I'm sitting on the Wi-Fi, and I'm a man in the middle, and can read this. So I often afraid to connect to Wi-Fi networks. What I don't know about nothing. And the worst situation is in case you have a QR code on table at the restaurant, and you just can click on QR code and you are redirecting to the Wi-Fi. But sometimes you can be redirected to the malicious website. So recommendations. If possible, really verify the Wi-Fi. Ask employee of restaurants, employee of hotel, whether it's really hotel Wi-Fi or restaurants Wi-Fi, and just after that you connect Wi-Fi. Do not use Wi-Fi without encryption, and the best choose is encryption EPA2. If not possible to verify Wi-Fi, okay, you can connect, but I ask you, don't do bank payments, don't read mails, don't log into e-shops and so on, because it's really the very simple way how to get your IDs authentications. Mobile phone is a chapter, very big chapter, because mobile phone is a small computer. You have email, contact, documents in the mobile. Question: how many of you have always switch on location? In case you are on the Wi-Fi, you can switch on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth anytime. Any of network can capture where are you and can track your way. So from your movement on space, on streets, on hotels can be used in the technology of OSINT. I will explain in the next, and can be misused. So what to do? How recommendations are to deal with these threats? The first, keep your device updated. I should say, for example, yesterday Apple announced that there is a new 0 day, and there is patch for this. You have to patch your iOS. But in case you have the older telephone than 8, so you have, for example, 7, you are not able to patch because the patch is available only for new types of phones. This is another problem with our small computers. Sometimes we have function our mobile, but it's very old. to get new patch, new updates for OS. You have patched not just operating systems on Android and iOS, but you have to patch any application you have. In case you are using, I hope you have locked your mobiles, but in case you have to unlock, it's better to use not the simple PIN with 4 digits, but more digit PIN of best of is biometric passwords. Your finger is your finger. I think there are some tricks how to get into some phones, but it's not so simple. As I said, the best way is disable Wi-Fi connection and Bluetooth in case you are not using it. And in case you are downloading some application, download just from verified sites, as Apple as Android have its own sites. And in case you install application, please look for application what you want to do with your personal data. I think any application needs to know where are you or access to your photos and so on. So this is a simple things you can do how to defend to the threats on mobile phones. Social networks. Social networks. Question. Are you able to left your photos on, for example, park bench? Just so because it's your photo and you want to anybody see your photos, or are you able to say your personal data, personal information to some unknown person, some stranger on the street? No. But we are able to public on social networks our status, CV, job description, activities, information where our family on trip, and so on. Any information we put to the internet, to the social network, way stay on the network. And social networks are really the best resource, essential resource for methods, open source intelligence that can identify where are you or what you are doing and identify about you anything it's needed for attacker, how to implement social how to implement attack and how to discuss with you so that this attacker know you because you everything put to the social networks. For example, resource, it's a very good resource for analytical companies, for example, social, but as well as politic companies that want to know our opinion, and when they manipulate with our opinion and manipulate, for example, preferences. So recommendations. We would to minimize the provision of our personal information on these public networks, and please be beware of public statuses, because our statuses are very good information for human resources in case you are searching for some new work. And yes, social networks are addictive. Sometimes we are sitting on a restaurant and we are not communicate to one another, but we are looking to our mobile devices. Some specific threats for teachers. Yes, it's a very big chapter, and I just will mention some points of this. Cyberbullying is cyber harassment. It's how we can harassment people with IT technology. And there are many names of harassment, of cyber harassment, like trolling, flaming. In case, for example, we want someone to scare, it's harassment. Trolling, you maybe know there are existing trolling farms that can influence opinion in some situations. Another, I can say that it's 50 shades of cyberbullying. For example, use technology to scare someone, use fake profiles to trick someone to start an online relationship. For example, your children or students can discuss with a profile that look like a teenager, but it can be the old man or woman, something else that you look like. Frapping, it's logging to someone's profile and posting as that profile, so somebody is looking like you. Griefing is abusing people in online games, and outing, it's a case when you sharing with somebody else personal information. And roasting is a worst way. It's a case when individual, or it's some group gangs that it's up on individual until this victim, this individual, really correct, and it's the worst thing. Some conclusions from this. Yes, it's time that we any of us is using internet. Internet speed up students' ability. We have no such libraries with printed materials offered in internet, but cyber worlds is dangerous, not for students, but as well as for teachers. And cybersecurity threats are alarming, but there is, yes, I found that the simple solution is not so simple. It's a solution that we have to educate our students, educate ourselves, because as we know, the knowledge is a power. And I think the last sentence I would like to see in or what I would like to see in the cybersecurity curriculum, or in IT curriculum, or minimum practices of cybersecurity. It's a section of social media and cyberbullying. I think it should be included. So that's my presentation in flat. If there are some questions, where my contacts for mail, I can answer, not here as well, but as well in mail. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Matthew, very much for your informative presentation. I think we have all learned something new, even though we are aware and we are met daily with scams and phishing attacks. There was still something that we have not encountered in your presentation, and I think we all completely agree with you that it is very important to teach cybersecurity to both students and teachers alike.